Okay, am I okay here?
Yes, perfect.
I mean, I don't really think she'd mind. I've read your books. If my dress.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah,
Are you kidding? You can take all your clothes off if
Thank
you
you.
want.
See? This is why I love Anne Rice. Everybody says I'm the vampire lady, but I know you're the dirty. I read the dirty books that you wrote.
Sex is good. Sex is clean. S&M is fun.
S&M is fun.
It can be.
Let's talk about that.
It can be.
Okay.
There can be a Disneyland of S&M. That's what my books are.
A Disneyland?
Amusement park of S&M, yeah.
It's true.
No literal murder, no literal horrible stuff, just fantasy, you know.
Everybody makes such a big deal of 50 Shades of Grey. The original S&M badness came from you. In the beauty
I'm to blame
series.
again.
No, wait, not to blame. I'm just saying
Yeah.
you're the original. You're the trendsetter, right? You had Beauty's
Beauty's punishment, beauty's release.
I always have to wonder, do you think real people are doing that in their bedrooms, or is that a fantasy that authors like you write about?
Well, I from what I've seen, I would say a very few people actually do it in the bedroom.
Really?
But they do, and they meet in groups, and they have lectures on safety. You know, if you're going to tie someone up with a lot of different locks, they should all have the same key in case the person gets sick. You know, I've met these people, and they
Keys
do.
to S&M. I mean,
they care about all that kind of safety stuff.
But doesn't that take some of the mystery out of it?
Well, it did for me. I mean, because for me, it's all imagination, and it's all writing, and it's all fantasy. You know, I believe in the right of people to fantasize what they want and to have an erotica that's authentic to their fantasies. But I've never been interested terribly much in acting this stuff out. I think it would be kind of ridiculous.
Silly.
But there are people who do it.
Do you think more people would like to try it than actually do try it?
I really don't know. Myself, I think people like to imagine it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm tired. You want to sleep?
So when people find out that you're more than just that Tom Cruise movie, how do you get treated?
I really, you know, I don't think they treat me any different. You know what I think I'm known as? The lady with the wild imagination. And it all comes under that umbrella. Each of us, we make up our own cosmology. And I made up my own vampires and my own rules for them. And I did the same thing for werewolves with the Wolves of Midwinter and the Wolf Gift. I made up a new kind of man-wolf, I think, that is a young man who does change into a man-wolf, and he gets extremely strong, hairy, and ferocious. He knows all about what's happening, and he can smell evil and cruelty. He can pick up the scent of those on people.
Is this a personal fantasy of yours that you wish you could eradicate bad from the world?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's very much part of it. I think all of us who have, you know, been around for 50 years or more have lived with terror and fear and crime in the cities, and there's a part of all of us would love to be a great big 6'6" wolf man who could just get the bad guys and eat them. Don't waste anything.
No.
Don't waste anything.
If you, Anne Rice, had a superpower, what would it be? And if you could have a superhero persona, who would she be?
Oh boy, that's a good question. I think I might go for the werewolf.
Really?
Well, the vampire in my mythology can't walk in the day. He's paralyzed. He's asleep during the day. And they give up forever the spectacle of the sun and the bright sky and all that. But the werewolves, as I've worked it out, they can learn to control that power, and they live forever too. And they don't
Would you want to
age.
live forever?
Well, I don't think I could resist if somebody offered me the possibility of being immortal. I think wouldn't you say yes?
Now, this is a hard thing to say
Yeah.
to you because I know you've been through the worst tragedy. I don't think I want to be alive without my family.
I understand.
And I know you lost a child when they
Yeah.
were very young. So,
I've lost my husband too, 41 years. But I still think most of us want to be immortal, and we feel immortal most of the time.
yes.
You know, that's why it's so horrible when you lose someone, because you're confronted with this reality that we're all going to die.
Okay. How do you get through it? I mean, if you don't mind me asking, because we've gone here already, how do you wake up the next day when you've been through a tragedy like that?
You just keep going. You tell yourself this too shall pass, or you tell yourself that the light will come back on. And you just
And
keep
does it?
going. Yeah, I think it does, and I think it comes on in some ways more brightly than before.
How do we seem to you? Do you find us beautiful?
Are vampires sad creatures?
No. Well, sometimes, yes, they can be tragic, especially if they're made vampires against their will. My vampires are always struggling with that, trying to claim a place for themselves in the universe.
Are any of these real? Are werewolves real? Are vampires real?
Oh, they're all real. They're everywhere. No, they're not real. Not that I know.
I'm very impressionable. Please, I'm asking you a real question here.
I have never met a real vampire. I have
Okay.
never met a real werewolf, and I've never met a real ghost, but I certainly have met a lot of people who say they have met ghosts.
Here's to never seeing ghosts. Here's to them not being real, the werewolves, wolves, and others. But thank you for coming on Talk Stoop.
I've enjoyed it a lot.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Me
you
too.
very much.
Thank you.
Okay.